All right, everyone, welcome. My name is Kate with Scott Leroy Marketing. Today, I'm going to be going over print marketing with you guys. So we're going to take a look at the designs applet within Command, and we're going to focus on taking a look at creating a flyer. So a flyer that you'd print out, um, probably an open house flyer. That tends to be what I kind of go towards. We'll also take a look at the listing presentation packet that is available within Command and how you can kind of go through that and edit that. Okay. So the first thing we want to do for today's class is, of course, log into our Command platform. Okay. Um, so we'll do that through agent.kw.com. I do always like to mention that your screen here on the home screen might look a little bit different than mine. The home screen can be customized slightly based on what's important to you and your business and what you'd like to see when you first log into Command. So if you're seeing a little bit different things on your home screen, that is totally okay. Moving along though, we're going to head into designs, okay? Now, once we're in designs, this is what we call our designs dashboard. This allows us to view previously created designs that we have created within the Command platform. So if we have created designs, we'll have some here. If you haven't gotten started creating designs yet, you may not have anything just yet, and that's okay. From here, you can search for different designs that you've previously created. You can filter based on the type of design. There are 4. You can create email designs, social media designs, print, and video. Okay, so you can sort by those if you were looking for a specific design that you created. You also have the ability to sort those. Excuse me. From there, you can sort based on old or new, whichever you'd like to see first. You can also change the layout if you'd like to see it as more of a table layout or a list versus the tiles. So that is up to you. From here, you can also import a design or create a design from scratch. Now, the first thing we want to do is take a look at importing. Now, we're not actually importing a design, but this is going to bring us into where we can view the templates, we can view stock images, we can view our projects again. So as you can see, import design, we're brought into my projects. We can see all of our previous designs. We can organize them by folder. We can start from a blank scratch design again, so we can start completely from scratch. We can choose a template, which will bring us here. We can, of course, import and edit a PDF. So that is where that import design comes into play. We can also remove a background image from here. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to head into our assets, okay? Now, from our assets, you're going to see we have company assets. We also have my assets. Now, the company assets are provided by Keller Williams International. When you're thinking of assets, these are going to be various different pieces of information or images that you are going to be pulling into your designs. It also allows you to brand yourself and make sure that all of your marketing is consistent and that you've built your brand and you're using that brand when you're creating different marketing. So that's kind of the purpose here. I always recommend making sure your assets are up to date before you start creating any designs. But company assets, we have colors and fonts. So we, of course, have the KWRI provided color palette. We have fonts. Now, they don't have a specific font, but they have a few that you can choose from. So there's quite a few here. If we go down to images, you'll see that we have some different stock photos that are available for you to use. There's even folders based on different categories that you can pull from. Let's say you wanted to create some marketing to advertise your app and promote your app. There's different images that you can use to show the app and kind of highlight it, and you can build your own marketing with that. If we go back, the next thing we have is text. Now, when we take a look at the company text, it's just that ownership statement that each office is independently owned and operated. I'm sure most of you know this generally needs to be on most marketing that you're creating, but for compliance, definitely reach out to your Market Center staff. They would be the best to provide you any specific things that need to be on your marketing for your local area. Next, we have logos. Now, when we go to logos, these are going to be the Keller Williams provided logos. So we have K-Score, we have Keller Williams University, Red Day that just passed. You can find that under events. If you're a luxury agent, if you need equal housing or the NAR logo, you can find those here. They have labs, and then they also have some generic Keller Williams logos, okay? Now, if we go back to go to the next one, it's elements. These are kind of like symbols or icons, as I like to call them. If you're trying to identify a specific piece of information, these are great to use. So for example, if you're typing your email on different marketing and instead of typing email, you want to identify that, you can use the little envelope here or website, location, phone number, etc. Videos, if they don't have any, but you can add videos that are added to your assets. They do need to be public-facing videos, so on YouTube or a similar platform. And then we have files. Their files are the style guide and the design addendum. Now, if we go down to my assets, this is where you can start building your own brand, okay? So you can start customizing that and making it your own. Now, there are a few different color palettes here. These were created by us, so you can create your own custom palette. Maybe you've had a logo created for yourself or your team. You can pull colors from that logo into a palette so that you're using them throughout your marketing. To create a new palette, you just simply hit Add Palette. It will create a blank one. You can, of course, rename it. We'll do class. And then you can start picking your colors. Now, there's a few ways to do this. You can just drag and drop. You can use the little dropper. Let's say you want to pick a specific color from your logo. You can pull that in that way. You can, of course, move this bar around, pick a different color. This is totally up to you. You get to decide your color palette and use those colors as you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because we already have quite a few. So you can delete by clicking those three little dots. You can also select your own font. So if you're, again, looking to brand yourself and want to be consistent in your marketing, you can search for fonts or upload your own. If you want to search through what's available, you just kind of scroll through it. When you find one that you like, we'll just come a little further down and pick one. Let's go ahead and go with this one. We just turn it on. It's just a little toggle button. And then we hit add, and it will add it to the top of our fonts right here. Okay. You can also remove any of these if you don't like them anymore or not using it. You can go ahead and remove those. Moving down, you have images. This one always takes a little bit to load. Let's go back. Let me refresh it. Give me one sec. I know we have images here, so trying to see if they're going to load for us. There we go. All right, so we have different images here. So this is a great place for you to add your headshot if you're using QR codes for your marketing. For example, for today, we're doing print marketing. Let's say you want to add a QR code to your website or to your consumer app. You can add those QR codes here so you can easily pull them into your designs. You can also create folders based on those different images you're using. And right from here, you can remove a background. So as you can see, we have a couple of Scott with the background removed. This one down here still has a background. So if we want to remove that, we simply click those three little dots. And then we have some different options: use, view, download, remove background. If we go ahead and click that, give it just a second to load, we're going to have a brand new photo with Scott's background removed, okay? So you can easily remove backgrounds in here. Now, of course, that's going to be different based on the logo you're trying to do it with or the picture. If we try to remove it from this military one, based on the photo, it may not remove the background exactly how you want. So just keep that in mind. It's not perfect, but for something like a headshot, it works pretty great. I know there's questions in the chat. I will come back to the questions. The recording for the class will always be on our YouTube channel. And if you have other questions, I will come back to them. Just hang tight. But these are your images, okay? You just add asset, it will allow you to pull it from your computer, if you have it in a Dropbox, etc. So you can pull them in from any of those locations. Moving on, you have text. If you're looking to have text readily available for you to pull into your marketing, this is a great place to add it. A lot of this is going to pull from your marketing profile already. But you have your bio, you have your website address, your email, phone numbers, anything you're going to be pulling into your marketing frequently. It's a great idea to have it as an asset. It just makes it easier and saves you some time. So you don't have to type it all out or remember every little number or code. So great place to add those, specifically your branded app code. So those are not customizable and sometimes hard to remember. So this is a great place to add them. Moving down, we have logos. This is where we recommend you pull in your branded logo if you have one, your team logo, or your market center specific logo. Okay, so we'll go through really quick where to find those market center specific logos. So for that, let's see if I can pull up another command browser. For the command logos, everything in kwconnect.com has been migrated to the Connect within your command platform. So if we go ahead and click that, and then we just come in this browser and we type logos. From there, we'll be able to click on this logos and branding, and then we can click on this link right here. It should open up for us. We'll give it just a second here to load. And if you get that error, that's okay. Try to refresh your page. Sometimes that will fix it. If not, let's see if we can reopen it. There we go. So you should be brought to this page here. From here, if you scroll down, you'll get to Market Center logos. And then we want to click Get Your Market Center logo. This will open an Excel file for all of the KW offices. Now, my best recommendation for here is if you're searching for your office, go ahead and hit Control F on your keyboard, and you can search for whatever market center you're looking for, okay? So I just typed in 65. If we're looking for 657, great. If not, we can hit these arrows to find the next office until we find the one we're looking for, okay? So you could also scroll, it will highlight those in green. Now, once you find the logo you're looking for, we'll go all the way back up to the first one. We'll go ahead and do St. Louis. This is your preview link. So you'll see it says preview link. If we click that, we can preview that that is the logo we are looking for. We can make sure it is the correct one. Let me just change my screen share here to make sure it pulls that. So if we click that link and we click this hyperlink, we'll see that we're allowed to preview that logo. We can make sure that's the correct logo we need for our office. And then we can download over here on the right. So if we click that one and click that link, it's downloading an entire folder to our computer. If we go ahead and click that, extract those contents, we can then download and grab that new folder, 657. We can click on black and white and CMYK. These are the two we're going to focus on. So black and white is going to allow us to find all of the available colors and formats for that specific office. Okay, so we have ones with a white background, ones with a transparent background. We can then go back and check out that other one. Same thing, we have different logos, colors, and formats. So this is a great place to come and find all of your available logos for your office. Now, one little disclaimer, not every single office is going to have all of the available colors or formats. So if you are not seeing every color that I am seeing for your office, you may not have them available. Whatever is available through here, though, should be what is offered to your office, okay? Now let's go ahead and go back to logos. Let's add a new folder. I always like to add a new one, and we'll just name this St. Louis. We're going to hit save. So we're going to have a new folder here. And let's go ahead and add those assets. So we're going to hit my device. We're going to find our St. Louis folder. We're going to grab all of these, add more, device, and then we're going to get the colored ones, all of those. Now we have a total of 7 files selected, okay? So we can upload all of these. And then no matter what marketing we're creating, we are going to have a logo that will work, okay? So this is a great way to make sure no matter what you're creating, you'll have a logo that's going to work for you. And again, if you have a logo for your team, if you've branded yourself, you can add those logos here as well. Next is elements. We don't have any, but similar to KWRIs, if you have one, you can add that here. And then videos and files, if you have those, you can add those here as well, okay? So now that we've got our assets fully ready to go, we can go ahead and start creating our design, okay? So we're gonna kind of start back from the home page. I'm going to take a quick look at the questions in the chat too. So I'm going to close that out. You need to create your own color palette each time, or create your color palette. You can't copy one from anywhere else. So, and then logos, those are going to be on KW Connect or on the Connect in command. You just search for logos and then you click this link. It will redirect you here and to your Market Center logos. And if we need to go back to that, we will have time at the end. So I can always jump back. I just want to make sure we get through everything before we go back to things. So if you see me skipping questions, I will come back to them, guys. Do not worry. We're going to head back to designs though. And this time we're going to go ahead and hit create design. And since we are making print marketing, we're going to hit that one and hit next. All right, and we're brought back into my projects, and that is okay. What we're going to do from here is go into templates. And then we can see that we have a few different categories on the left-hand side. And within those categories, you're going to have additional subcategories. So you can kind of look through these and find what you're looking for. But if we skim through a few of them, like business basics, you'll have some email signatures or business cards. If you need social branding or virtual meetings, you can find those here. For our first piece of marketing that we're going to create today, we're going to go to listing. And I always like to do an open house flyer. I feel like that's pretty standard and a lot of people can use it. So we're going to go ahead and hit open house. And then we see at the top, we have some different sizing options. So these are going to allow us to eliminate anything we're not looking to create. So if we're creating a flyer to print for our open house, we're not going to be looking for a postcard size image, okay? So this will help you eliminate any of those items that you're not looking for. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at flyers. And then from here, you're going to see we have some different options. So you can kind of look through these, find the one that you like. Once you have one that you like, we can go ahead and hit use, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit that use button. And then we'll start editing our marketing here. Now, one thing I want to point out, this banner right up here at the top, this banner is going to change as you are clicked on different pieces of content. So for example, right now we're clicked kind of off of the image. We're in the white space over here. So we have the drawing, shapes, frames, text, and table. If we click on an image, that banner up top is going to change. Same for text, as well as if we click on the background. So just keep that in mind. This banner is going to allow you to make different changes to your design based on what you're clicked on, okay? If you want to get off of the design, you can always click in the white space around it, and then you'll get these options again. Now our left-hand menu bar is going to be all of our different pieces of content, okay? So we can go back to templates. We can also view images. And within each of these, there's going to be some other categories at the top. So we have stock photos. These are going to be actual stock photos from the internet. We can also click on workspace. Anytime you see workspace, I want you to relate that to those KWRI assets, okay? So that's technically what that workspace is. You'll see we have the same photos we had available. We have the same folders for images. So those are going to be those KWRI assets. And then, of course, we have our own assets. This is where we can pull in our images. Moving down, text. You have add. This is going to be add new text. So if we click on title, it's going to add new text to the top of our image. Subtitle, it's just smaller text, and so on and so forth. So you can always delete those. And you can always resize them. So if you add title and you want to resize that, you can certainly do that to make it smaller. You don't have to hit one of the others to adjust that. Banners. These are kind of like stickers, in my opinion. They look like stickers to me. You can edit those and use those on your designs. So you can come in here and start editing the text and things like that for these. You can even change the color. Workspace, again, those KWRI assets, and then our own. We didn't have any. You'll have a QR code option for print marketing only from what we've seen. And we can take a look at this as we're going. You'll have KWLS, which we're going to take a look at as well. And then animation, we're not going to mess with today because when we are printing marketing out, animation will not work. That's going to be great for social media, but not when you're physically printing out a design. All right, so let's start editing this. So the first thing we want to do is replace our photos, okay? So we're going to use the KWLS, and we can search our listing that we are having an open house for. We can search by the address, the MLS number, KWLS ID, listing agent, or co-listing agent. I now have an address right here we're going to go ahead and use because I have it pulled up. And we're going to go ahead and search. And if you happen to get this error, which I do get from time to time, bear with me one moment. If you get that error, generally the quickest resolution to that error is to open an incognito window, okay? Right here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why it pops up sometimes and other times it doesn't, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit done so we can come back into this on my new tab here. So bear with me just a moment while we pull this back up. All right, so here's our design. Let's go ahead and go back into this. All right, let's go back and try this again. All right, so that time, all of our listings pulled up. So it's going to pull anything with that address. You should be able to find the one you're looking for. Using that MLS ID is going to be the fastest way to find the specific property you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and hit select though. And as I can see, I'm given all of the MLS photos. If I click listing details, I also have all of those details pulling directly from the MLS, okay? So it makes it very easy to plug and play and get my information updated in this design. So let's go ahead and start with the photo. Since I am clicked on a photo, I will see the option to replace. That's going to be that double arrow. If I click off of that image and I'm clicked in the white space, if I hover over these, that is gone. And I only have the plus sign. That's going to add a brand new image to the top of the design. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you are creating this. You may need to make sure you're clicked on whatever you're looking for or looking to replace. Now you can, of course, zoom in as well. Let's go ahead and replace this one. And then we'll swap that one. Okay, so we're just replacing our photos. Now let's go ahead and start updating the rest of the info. So let's grab our logo. We're going to go to My Assets. We'll pull in our St. Louis logo that we picked today. And we're going to have the same thing. We have replace. It's going to put that logo into that same space so I don't have to resize it or mess around with it. We can grab the address, go back to our listing. listing details, we can go ahead and replace that address. Now, whatever is displayed here is going to replace that exact information. So if it's different, you just want to be mindful of that if you need to edit it. Now for this one, it gets a little tricky because our bed, bath, square footage, listing price built in is all in one box. If I come over here and try to replace the price, it's going to replace everything. So this is one of those situations, and when I just undid it, did both, where it is going to be easier to just type, okay? So you can either double click and start editing the text, or you can click on the box and use the typewriter. And that will allow you to type right here. So, and I'm actually gonna scroll down so I can see the information I'm looking for. And then we'll do the typewriter. And we're gonna do 13, 18. Let's see. Okay. And then built in 2008. All right, so now we've got all of our text. We're going to go ahead and hit Save Changes, and it will update all of that text, okay? We can make this bigger if we want to have everything kind of spaced out like it was. If we want to pull in our description is down here. They have just specifics, so you could adjust that. I'm just going to pull the entire description. So up to you what you'd like to do here. If this box is too big, we may need to adjust this. We can either remove some of the text, or we can move these photos down because they don't really need to be right there. And then we can move our, see if I can click on that line. It's not going to let me. That's okay. We're going to remove the zip code so that that fits a little better. I could also move this up and put it over here. So these templates, you can customize them, guys. If you don't like where something is or how something is aligned, you can certainly move it around, okay? Make these your own. Let's go ahead and start editing the other information on here. So we're going to go ahead and swap this photo. So let's go back to our images. We're going to give, for whatever reason lately, the My Assets images have been taking a little bit longer to load. So just bear with them for a second. While that is trying to load, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the name. There we go. And we'll go ahead and pull in Scott's photo. Let's click on our photo so we can replace. Now, if you want to zoom in on this, you can double click and resize that in the box. So that is up to you, and hit done. We can then swap out our other information. I'm just going to put a random number here. Oops, now we're really doing it. Getting too carried away with those numbers. We'll go ahead and adjust our number or our email, support at. And then I'm printing this out. I really don't want to put the app code on there. Instead, what I want to do is I want to put the actual QR code on there. I think it's just a little nicer. So we're going to adjust this. Move that up so we can move Scott's photo up. And we're going to move those over just a tad so it all fits. Or resize that. And then let's go ahead and throw on our app code. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that here. It's going to add it to the top. We can resize it. Or if you had a QR code for your open house, this is a great place to add that as well. Okay, so up to you there on what you add. All right. Last thing we want to do is change our date. So let's go ahead and do May 17th. Is it 17th or 18th? 18th. Oops. All right, so now we've got our flyer ready to go. If you really wanted to brand this, let's say you did create your color palette and you want to change these colors, you can always do that. Library colors, you can come to whichever palette you created. So let's go ahead and grab our pink one just to make it stand out. That's two. There we go. You can change your text if you want. If you want to make this a different color, we can come up here and do that as well. We're just going to make this really pop today so that we can see all of that fun we can have with these. So you can change any of that. You can also change your font. Say we didn't want it all capitals because it looked a little weird. We can make this bigger now that we've adjusted the font. Too big. So you guys can totally adjust these however you'd like. That is going to be optional, okay? So let's say we're done with this. Let's move this down just a tad. All right, so our design is done. Let's say we're happy with this. This is exactly how we want it. We can go ahead and download this. You can order prints in here too as well, but generally it's easiest and fastest to print those in your office if you're able to. You can do PDF standard or PDF for printing. The printing will provide those bleed lines just to make sure all of your text is inside of that. But I generally don't run into any issues, so I'm going to do standard and we're going to download. And once that downloads, we'll be able to open it up on our computer. As you can see, it's downloading down here. And there we go. Now we can open that up, take a look, and print that in our office. Okay? Or send it off to print, whichever you prefer. Now that we are done with this design, we're going to go ahead and hit done. All right, it is right here. I can always go back and edit it. Let's say I just want to plug a new open house in every time, a new property, and not recreate the entire thing. I can go back and edit that design. I can also make a copy to where I can edit the copy if I'd like instead of the actual design. So all of those options you can do. All right, for the next portion of class, before we get into questions, I'm going to go over the listing presentation with you guys. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and do create design again. We're going to do print, and we're going to do next. All right, from here, we're brought into projects again, which is okay. We're going to head to those templates. And this time we're going to be in listing again, okay? We should see the listing presentation. You'll also find they do have buyer presentations. The buyer presentation can be edited the same way that the listing presentation can. So if you're looking for that, you can also do that in the same way. Now, when we're under listing presentation, you'll see these have a page 9+. You'll also see as we hover over this, it's starting to shuffle through those pages so we can take a look. That lets you know it is multiple pages. If we go back to the flyers, those are just one page. It's not going to shuffle. It doesn't let us know that there's more than one page. But if we go to postcards, these are going to have a number 2. They have 2 pages, okay? So when we are on the listing presentation, it is more than 9 pages. So you just kind of pick the one that you like, whichever one you prefer. We'll go ahead and go with this front one today. And with this listing presentation, we're not going to edit every single page during class today, but I am going to go over each page with you. We're just going to briefly take a look at each of them. And if you have questions on that, just let me know. Once we are here, though, you'll see at the bottom right, we have pages. That's how we can identify all of the pages, and we can kind of take a look at each of those. Now, one thing I like to mention on these listing presentations is that this is a template. You are going to want to make sure this is customized to you based on how you handle business, what you do for each client. And you're going to want to make sure you remove anything that you don't do or is not required for your area. So make sure you go through every page very carefully before you have printed this off to use for someone. With that being said, the first page is generally one that I delete. This is kind of just letting us know what this is and not necessarily something you'd give to your client. So if we're looking to delete a page, we could just hit those three little dots. We have the option to duplicate or delete, okay? Now there will be pages in this template you will want to delete. Maybe they're just not relevant. Maybe you're a new agent and don't have the stats or the metrics to plug in. You may want to remove it and add it back later. This second page that pops up though, you definitely want to remove. This second page is instructions for you, the agent, to let you know that this is designed for you to customize. Again, what best serves your business and your specific clients. So you want to make sure you go through everything and remove anything that does not pertain to you. So we're going to go ahead and delete this page as well. And we'll give it a second. Now this looks more like a cover photo to me. So this is the one we're going to start with. So we can start customizing this. We'll just do John Smith today. We can switch out that photo and use a different one. We can start editing our other photo. We can start replacing our name. Your website, email, all of that good stuff. I'm not going to edit everything. You can start replacing those logos as well. Now, we're not getting the replace on this specific one. So in some cases, if it doesn't recognize it as a logo, you may just want to delete and add a new one. And actually, I'm going to add the Scott Leroy one. So let's go back. Let's add this one. Too small. We'll add this one right here. And then we'll swap out our other logo. Now we do have the replace option because it recognizes that as a logo. All right, so first page, of course, you can customize this if you want to use your color palette you've created. Again, up to you if you're building that brand consistency. You can do that. Moving to our next page, this just kind of goes over timeline. Again, if you'd like to adjust that, you can. If you don't like the lines, we do get questions on those lines sometimes. They're pretty hard to delete, but usually if you zoom in enough, you can get to those. So if you don't like them, you can remove them. Swap out any photos. The next one is going to be on the property that you're listing. So you can come in and customize that, change the address, phone number, any other information you'd like to, or I said phone number, other information here. And you can also change what it says down here. So fully customize this page. Next, we have some information on what's happening in the neighborhood, okay? So you can come in and adjust that based on their area. For this specific little image right here, this is one that you can find under the KWLS, and it is the snapshot, okay? So from there, you can search by neighborhood name or zip code. Let me grab the zip code really quick. And we'll plug that in. And that will allow you to pull in a snapshot. It's going to provide all of those stats. Now we get questions sometimes if you do not like the stats that are pulling in that image, you'll want to just create your own image and pull that one into your design. Once it pulls based on the neighborhood, there's no way to customize the numbers that pull in. Hopefully I can pull this up. It's not loading today. Okay, well, we'll come back to this if it loads, but it should give us about 4 different images with different, it's the same stats, but they're going to be 4 different images that you can use. Some have all of the numbers, some don't. So if you don't like the numbers that are provided, you can always try to find one of the other images to use. Not sure why it's not loading today, but we will try it at the end of class just to see. Moving down, comparable properties. So you can go ahead and add those in here once you've done your CMA. Your customers' needs come first. So this just goes over, how can I make this happen for you? Why is that important for you? Things like that, questions you may be asking the seller. The process. So this is another one you may want to come in and really change. Some states do not require attorneys. You may want to kind of go through this, reword some of them, change them, remove them, whatever you need to do. You can always click on the text and edit that. You can also add another box if you need to add more. You can do Control C and Control V, and that should add a new box for you to use. So if you need to add more, you can do that. But again, just make sure it matches whatever you're doing in your current business. Next, marketing plan. So it's going to go over that in the next few pages. Finding your buyer. So again, come in here, customize this. You can also change the colors on this graph by clicking on those. This is going to go over some of the marketing and promotional items that you have available through Command. So this is a great one to use, but you can, of course, edit and customize the text here. Your media plan. This goes over, again, more things you have available in Command on how you can promote their listing and help them get that sold faster. Brochures, flyers, coming soon, open house, etc., as well as posting through socials and paid advertisements. So you can do all of those here. Strategic promotion. Again, go through these, make sure if there's anything you're not doing or that you are doing to remove or add. But coming soon campaign just listed. You also have your open house strategy. So you can go through these and really customize that based on how you handle open houses. All in the details. So again, eye-catching signs, your listing amplified, door knocking, mass mobile marketing, videography, high quality photography are those things you're doing. What else are you doing you can add to this? So these are great things that you can come in and really customize. Real experience, real expertise. This is going to kind of go over you. So you can, of course, swap out your photos and information on here, like the other pages. It even has credentials you may have gotten, number of years in the business, clients served. This is one of those pages where if you are a new agent and you have not really had too many deals yet, you may want to remove some of these temporarily, just until you have a little bit more. Again, up to you though. Next, the proof is in the numbers. In some cases, if you are a newer agent, your office can help provide numbers that are for an office, the whole office, to kind of put that on here. But you would want to change this maybe not to say my numbers, but our numbers, just based on your whole office, okay? So that is definitely an option when it comes to something like this. Credentials and awards. So this is from KWRI. You can remove this page or add in your own credentials or awards if you have them. It stopped at 2019. We're hoping they'll get some new ones added soon, but you can probably research some and add some in here as well. Leading in the industry, this just goes over kind of KW. As you can see, it has the Y4C2Ts, which goes over kind of the culture and all of that. Your portfolio of excellence, so previous homes that you have helped with, you can add those here. You can also remove this if you're a new agent. You can always delete. More properties that you have worked with, and then we have featured listings that you can add. Now, the next one is going to be testimonials. So any client testimonials you can add. You can always duplicate this page if you have more than 3 that you'd like to include. So you can always duplicate that and add more. Moving down, your promise to the client. So this kind of just goes over that. And of course, you can customize the text over here. These are just, so you're not starting from scratch. You kind of already have a template to get started. Selling safely. This is going to go over that information for them. Of course, adjust it based on your area or anything you do differently. The bottom line. Then we go over the consumer app. This is a great place to add your QR code for your branded app, or you can grab that whole link from your command platform. You could do both even. You could have your app QR and that full link. So up to you. You can always pop this QR code off to the side. This goes over that app and how they can use that to search for properties or see what's going on in their area. And then the last page is just more information about you. Again, your branded app link is on, or yeah, your branded app link is on here. One little thing I like to show on this page, if you'd like to add your photo, the frames are a great way to add your photo. If you want it to go into a perfect little circle or square, you can add those and then replace. It's going to put your photo in that exact space. Whereas if you just click it, it's just going to add it as a square. You can certainly do that as well. But those frames are a great way to add that to a specific shape or something like that if you're trying to do that. Now, once we're done with this, we go ahead and download again. And this one will sometimes take a little bit longer because it is so many pages. But you'll see it downloading here in the bottom left. And once that downloads, I want to show you the way to share it virtually. And then we can go through any questions you guys have. Just a second. Oh, it's taking that 1% a long time. There it goes. All right, so now we have our PDF. We can open that up. We can send this to be printed. We can print it in Office. You'll have all of the pages. Of course, when you're printing, you can decide if there are certain pages you do not want to include. You can remove those so that they don't print. The last thing I want to show you guys, though, is how you can share this with your clients as why can't I think of the word today? As a digital booklet. There we go. So I don't know about you guys. I am terrible about keeping paper. My toddler will get a hold of it. My dog will get a hold of it. I will lose it, whatever it is. So after your listing appointment, if you would like to share this as a digital booklet, there's an easy way to share that link so that they can view that. And to do that, you're just going to hit this share button in the top right corner. And from there, if you make sure this says anyone with a link, so anyone with a link, and then we copy this link right below. If we go and we open a new browser and paste that, it's going to give us a digital booklet. Now, this is a great link you can email out to your clients. You can send it over as a text message. But just kind of an easy follow-up to send that booklet in case they misplace it or want a different format for it. This allows them to do that. You can change it to magazine mode, and that will allow them to just scroll through all of those pages and see everything included in your listing presentation again. Okay, so really great way to share it. It has edit, but they cannot edit unless they have command access. So do not worry about that. It does give them the ability to download if they wanted to. So just a great little way to kind of follow up after your appointment. Once we're done though, we just hit that done button. And then we should be brought back into our templates. Okay, so we can see it here. Make a copy. So you don't have to recreate the wheel every time. It will be very helpful. All right, you guys. That is our full class. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and stop record so we can go through all of those questions that I saw in the chat. If you have any more, please drop those in. Let's go through them, whatever you have. And yeah, we'll do that.